How's it going, guys? Tom here, and we're back for episode number 20 of Showdown Slam. As you join us for our last episode of Jamie Boyt's team, which, if you haven't been following for the past few 2 weeks, really, is his Worlds team. And it's got updated spreads from his Worlds reports, which I've linked in the description below. So if you haven't seen that video, then do check it out. And if you're not subscribed to him, then I thoroughly recommend you do so. I'm not sure if he's planning to do any Showdown videos or Battle Spot videos, but I know he is going to be recording his sets from recent tournaments that he's been going to. So obviously the new season is just underway. And in fact today, which is Sunday for me right now, the first tournament of the UK VGC season started, and that was in Yeovil. 13 people attended, I think, so didn't quite reach 16 players to get that nice, lovely top 8 CP. But yeah, it seemed like a good turnout, some strong players there, most notably some people in the UK World Cup team. But Jamie actually got 5th out of 13, which was, it's decent. He was using some very interesting mons from what I heard. Including a Vigoroth, so I think he is going to be uploading his videos from that over the next week or so, so do definitely look out for those and check them out. I certainly can't wait for them. Unfortunately, it did mean he didn't cut the event. His resistance was quite bad. I think he got like 33% resistance. That was really low, and he went through in one as well, so it wasn't exactly like it was a bad score. Just unfortunate, I guess, with the matchups he had. So our first match of today, in our last episode with Jamie's Worlds team, is going to be a, it's a kind of a standard, I want to say, Ryoga team with the Crobat, the Raichu, the Ferrothorn and the Gengar, so some massive hard Xerneas counters here. Definitely need to think about that. Ferrothorn does scare me a little bit, and I feel like I need to bring Arcanine just for that. But in order to do that, I need to make sure I get rid of this Kyogre threat. So how do I want to begin this? I think Scrafty is a great lead here. You can't really go wrong with Scrafty against a team like this, I don't think. Kyogre does give this team a pretty bad matchup anyway, so we need to think about that. Whimsicott I'm liking the idea of, because it can set up Tailwind and do other things, but again, if I'm bringing Whimsicott, I might as well bring Xerneas really. I think I want to start with Rayquaza here, and do I want Gyarados or do I want Arcanine? I think Arcanine could be better here, just because they both get Intimidate, so we're definitely bringing Xerneas, so it's a case of, do we want Thunder Wave? I mean, Raichu just stomps all over this Gyarados, let's face it, whereas Arcanine, it's just worried about that Kyogre really, which I think we can potentially deal with the rest of our team. And it can always helping hand as well, looking at that. Yeah. Gyarados deals with most of this team quite well, really. It is just that Ferrothorn I'm worried about. So let's bring the Arcanine here. And it is Raichu plus Crobat. So Crobat's probably going to want to Quick Guard here. And I think what we can do is go for a knockoff into the Raichu, and we will go for a how do we want to deal with this? Let's go for a knockoff into the Raichu, and we can Icy Wind here. I think that'd be quite nice. Just get more chip. We could go for the KO on the Raichu this turn, but it does fake out, so fair enough. See, the Icy Wind kind of doing something there, but not really anything, let's be honest. Raichu is going to want to nuzzle here, so maybe Whimsicott could have been the better option here. Let's go for a knockoff into this Raichu now, and we'll go for a... Actually, no, we want to preserve these Pokemon for as long as possible now. So, how do we want to deal with this? We'll go for a knockoff into the Crobat, and now we'll go into the Raichu here. And we'll go for an Icy Wind. So Crobat goes for a Super Fang, and the Nuzzle, of course, comes out from the Raichu there. Basically, we want to make sure that none of these Pokemon take advantage of the Tailwind, but we have just knocked out the Raichu. So this Kyogre is free to come in and just spout, really. So how do we want to do this really? It might just want to Ice Beam the Rayquaza. And because of that, I'm going to switch out the Rayquaza, get Weather the next turn. Let's, yeah, I think we'll have to let Scrafty go down here. And what we can do is we'll send in, yeah, because we don't know what my opponent has in the bat. It's probably going to be Rayquaza, to be fair. So let's send in Xerneas here, I guess. Probably a really bad move from me, as it is Water Spout, and it actually crits the Xerneas as well, so that's great. Yeah, good start. Good start, guys. Yeah, Whimsicott would have been great here. Perhaps I need to remember that in teams like this where it's standard Raygo, if they've got a Crobat or a Raichu, just bring Whimsicott, get that Thunder Wave, get that get that Safeguard, get that Tailwind, you know, all that good stuff. What we can do here is Dragon Ascent the Kyogre and maybe Helping Hand the Rayquaza and hope. Let's go for that and see what happens, shall we? So that is scored from the Kyogre. That's fair enough. Super Fang from the Crobat. And Dragon Ascent gets the KO. So that's okay, I guess. And it is Rayquaza here. Boo! Let's go for an extreme speed onto this Rayquaza. We can't do anything else here. This game is lost. So perhaps Gyarados being the better option here as well. Extreme speed, yeah, it does knock us out. So, yep, good start there. 0-1 straight away. Like to get these losses out of the way and then finish off with 2 wins, you know. As we search for our second team, and it is going to be when it loads, it is going to be a very interesting team. Kind of reminds me of Jamie Boynt's 15 Worlds team with the Serperior and the, what do you call it, the Suicune. So maybe a bit of 15 versus 16 here, which is always fun. Klefki and Bisharp, Talonflame and Groudon supporting those two that I already mentioned. Bisharp, I think, gets like that move that sturdy, that Intimidate users hate. So perhaps we don't want to lead with Intimidate here. What we'll do is we'll go with Whimsicott and Rayquaza here. Because of that, we'll have Xerneas in the back, and we will actually no, we won't. I'm not feeling Xerneas today. We'll have Scrafty and Arcanine in the back. I think that could be quite fun. So it's Klefki and Suicune. Okay, interesting. So let's go for a Safeguard here. That Klefki then can't do anything to us. And we can go for a... Suicune probably wants to go for Tailwind here, which is fair enough. Let's say no, you can't do that. I don't think Suicune generally has an Ice move, but if it does, then it's probably going to be Icy Wind over Ice Beam, I think in this meta anyway. So yeah, Klefki Thunder Wave doesn't do anything to the Safeguard, and it is Calm Mind Suicune actually, which is really interesting. What we can do here is Tailwind and Extreme Speed, the Suicune. Yeah, so we get the knockout onto the Suicune there. And it spikes Klefki. Okay, so we're pretty low ladder now, as you can see here. What we will do is we will... I don't know, do we want to one-call this Klefki? I don't think we should. Let's send in our double Intimidate here. So we'll send in Scrafty. Actually, no, we'll send in Arcanine for the Whimsicott in case Groudon wants to go for a Fire Punch into it. It's probably going to be Special Groudon, knowing my luck. It would be nice to get some Intimidates off on it though. We can always go for Fake Out next turn as well. So Klefki with the spikes, and it is Physical Groudon. Okay, that's fortunate. And Scrafty avoids that attack there. So here we can go for a Flare Blitz into the Klefki, and we can Fake Out the Groudon. Groudon doesn't protect. Klefki gets more spikes up, and Flare Blitz KOs it. Cool. That's some big damage onto the Arcanine there. And finally it's Serperior. We've got one round of Tailwind up left, so we can Flare Blitz that. And I think what we can do here is, just to be safe, is low kick the Superior as well. So yeah, the Flare Blitz does knock out the Superior there. Scrafty's going to take a single target attack of whatever it happens to be, Precipice Blades, but it actually misses, so that's really good. And we can just send in Rayquaza here and get the Waterfall off. So yeah, this was a much better game 2. I guess that's what happens when you fall down the ladder after, you know, if you're losing your first or second games when you're playing, then you are going to, out of 3, then you are going to kind of fall down the ladder a bit. As our last game for today is going to be a kind of Barry Anderson-esque team with the Groudon Kyurem core, with the Whimsicott for, Grass Whistle, Crobat, Metagross, and the Gastrodon Slug thing. So how do we want to deal with this? I don't think they get... I'm not sure if Gravity is a thing with this team, where it comes from, because you haven't got the Sableye here. Yeah, so I'll say we want to lead with Scrafty and Whimsicott. We can get some good fake out chip and Moonblast the Kyurem potentially. Of course, Crobat could lead here as well, so we need to bear that in mind, but low kick will do some big damage as well. Rayquaza in the back, and I feel Xerneas is really good here as well. As is Gyarados actually. Gyarados looks really nice. So we will bring the Gyarados and see what happens, I guess. So it is Crobat, and it's Whimsicott as well. So we don't want to fake out that Whimsicott because of thingy. Yeah. So we will, because of Encore. So what we'll do is we'll knock off the Crobat, and we will safeguard here. I'm not too fussed about Tailwind just yet. I'd rather make sure we avoid any potential Grass Whistle techs. So we'll just knock off each one until Scrafty goes down, I think. Actually, no, we'll just knock off each one, and then once that's happened, then we can simply switch out the Scrafty for something else that'll put a bit more offensive pressure on. So that's kind of my first 2 turns planned out there. This Whimsicott should feel pretty free in going for a Moonblast here. Would be a shame if it does. It might just feel safer in doing something else. No, it just goes straight for the Moonblast, okay. So yeah, Scrafty isn't doing anything there. So here we can go for a... Let's send in Gyarados here. And what we can do is Waterfall the Crobat, and we can Moonblast the Whimsicott here. So Crobat Tailwinds, more Moonblast from the Whimsicott, actually reduces our special attack, but that doesn't really matter. So let's go for another. Let's go for another Waterfall into the Crobat. Actually, this Crobat might feel pretty safe in going for a what do you call it? It is a Super Fang. That's what it is. That's what I want to say. But let's go for it anyway, and we can Moonblast this Whimsicott. Actually, the Crobat Super Fangs the Whimsicott there. So that's interesting. But we should knock out this Whimsicott. We do. And we don't quite knock out the Crobat yet. But that's fine. Groudon comes out. Might be special Groudon. So I think here what we want to do is send in the Rayquaza for the Gyarados, neutralise that weather, and we can Tailwind this turn. Yeah, let's go for that. Quick Guard, yeah, fair enough. Ancient Power, okay, that's interesting. Wow, right. So Crobat might want to Quick Guard here. What I want to do is go for an Icy Wind. And so it is special Groudon, so Gyarados isn't really needed that much here. How do we want to deal with this? Let's go for a Mega Evolution, Waterfall, and Moonblast into this Groudon. So it is Super Fang from the Crobat there. Moonblast does pick up some good chip there. Reduces special attack as well. Does knock out the Whimsicott there. And we do get the KO with Waterfall. Perfect. So here we send in Gyarados. It's probably going to be Kyurem in the back. No, it's actually Metagross. So that's not great. What we can do here is go for a... don't know what's more effective, Dragon Ascent or Waterfall. Dragon Ascent is 180 after the stab, and then 90 after not very effective, whereas Waterfall is 80. I think what we need to do here is go for a double Waterfall into... it's probably going to Bullet Punch here actually. Probably will Bullet Punch, but I think we just have to go for it and see. No, it doesn't Bullet Punch. Oh, that just does nothing anyway. Rip. So we do half, but we do flinch it, so that's really interesting. And we still got a turn of Tailwind as well. So I think all we can do is really go for the same again. Let's actually go for the double flinch this time. Why not, eh? Okay, so it protects, fair enough. Super Fang from the Crobat, of course. Yeah. So let's go for an Extreme Speed into this. Maybe we'll get a crit. And we can at least... let's go for an Extreme Speed into the Crobat. And we can Thunder Wave this. Yeah. So it's actually Thunder Punch. Okay. So that's not ideal. So I imagine that it's going to be faster than us. I'd be very surprised if it isn't. Let's go for an Extreme Speed. Hope we crit or something. Nah, we don't. So my opponent takes game 2 there, and we'll just finish off. This is our last match now with Jamie Boyd's team, so hopefully we can end off on a win. As it's a kind of similar team for us with the Gyarados. This is going to be what is very likely a Trick Room team, with most likely Endeavour Pikachu as well, so whatever we do, do not touch that Pikachu. How do I want to deal with this? I think we need Raw. So let's... we could have double Raw as well. That'd be quite interesting. Let's lead with Whimsicott and Gyarados here. Or Arcanine. That Pikachu. I will lead with Scrafty because we can at least get some big damage onto the Slowbro. With you know, Fake Out and then Knock Off, you know, should do a good chunk to it. We'll have Xerneas in the back. Xerneas looks really good here, and we can enjoy Rayquaza one last time as well. So here we see Gyarados and Kyogre. Okay, that's fair enough. What we can do here is Tailwind, and we can Fake Out this Kyogre. Then we can guarantee that we outspeed it as well, which is always nice. So it is Mega Gyarados, that's really interesting. We can potentially low kick it next turn. And it's Dragon Dance Gyarados. Okay, really interesting. Do we want to Fake Out? Do we want to Encore that and then just keep it doing that all the time? I don't think we do, really. But we can go for a Moonblast and a low kick into it. And maybe that will get some... oh no, it goes for a Protect. Okay. Great. We can potentially Encore that next turn though. So, yeah. So let's go for the Encore onto that. And we can at least switch in Xerneas here. So Gyarados protects. Kyogre goes for a Water Spout here. Wow, 5%. Great. We can get a Geomancy off here though, maybe. So let's go for a Fake Out into the Kyogre and a Geomancy. Rayquaza might want to switch in here as well. What we can do is Quick Guard any extreme speeds away. So I don't feel like I'm in the worst of positions here. It's actually Machamp here. That's interesting. So how do we want to deal with this? Maybe we want to low kick this Kyogre first and protect Xerneas. Now we need to preserve the Scrafty here. So if we send in Rayquaza, protect Machamp, we might have Bullet Punch or Mach Punch. It's got Wide Guard actually. Okay, cool, good to know. So yeah, Water Spout isn't doing anything to Rayquaza there, which is good. Also means that because that Gyarados is Mega Evolved, though, that they don't have Rayquaza or they can't Mega it. So that's good to know. And what we can do here is Dragon Ascent the Machamp, and we can Moonblast the Kyogre. So Pikachu comes out. Oh god, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh no, it's not even sashed. Wow, okay. And so we get a double KO. Great, okay, that's alright, I guess. So this Gyarados is going to come in. I don't think it gets any priority moves. What we can do is go for a Dazzling Gleam and Dragon Ascent, I think. I don't see anything wrong with that. Maybe switching the Scrafty here and protect the Xerneas. Yeah, let's go for that, and then we can get Weather Dominance at least with the Rayquaza. So Gyarados protects, fair enough, and Kyogre goes for a nice beam into the Scrafty, so that's cool. We'll Fake Out Kyogre here, and we'll go for a Moonblast into the Gyarados. Cool, so we get another KO there. And my opponent forfeits. So yeah, we finish off on a win here. Just going to take a quick look at my rating, probably 1200s. We are 1215 actually, so we are very low here. At the last time this was updated, which was probably the last game, we actually have a win-loss rate of 34-29, so we really haven't had the best of luck with this, or maybe not the best of luck, we just haven't played well at all with this team. So we're on a win rate of 53% at the moment, which is very, very poor. I'd really want to step that up for the next team, whatever it's going to be. I'm also going to be starting to look at events as well that are coming up and seeing if there's any that I can go to. There's probably not going to be any for September, but certainly for October we'll be taking a look and seeing which is what's possible. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, do let me know. It's always great to hear feedback. I did put a quick question out on Twitter yesterday just to see how people are enjoying the series. It sort of came as a result of me taking this break from recording and just thinking, let's see, before I carry on, let's see what the general consensus is. And there's been some positive feedback, which is good. I do feel like I'm improving as a result of these videos as well. Like, the main thing is because I'm kind of doing this for other people as well, it's leading me to try and use different teams at the same time. So I'm getting a good mix of, I'm getting exposure to different kinds of teams here, which is quite good as well, which is what I think my play needs. The only thing I feel I could be doing better is watching back these videos after I record them as well, so I can see where I could have potentially improved. But yeah, that's going to be all for today, and that's going to be all for Jamie Boyd's team as well. So Jamie, I don't think watches these, but if you do happen to watch this, thank you for sharing your team and your report with us. Obviously, it's helped me out for the past 2 weeks, getting used to it as well. And yeah, his reports and everything will be linked in the description. I do need to think about what I am going to be using for the next 2 weeks. And until I decide then, feel free to suggest any teams that you'd like me to use as well, and I'll certainly bear them in mind. But until that new team comes out, I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you have a good evening. Bye-bye.